Greetings and welcome to the Women's Forest Congress. I am Dr. Antonia Farrell. My pronouns are she, her. I am the Assistant Dean and Director for Diversity at the University of Kentucky College of Agriculture, Food and Environment. I also serve as the National Minorities in Agriculture, Natural Resources, and Related Sciences, also known as Manners, immediate past president. Today, we will be focusing on networking and moving the Women's Forest Congress forward. I have the distinct honor and privilege to serve as the facilitator brought to you by the Women's Forest Congress. Today, I'm zooming in from Shawnee, Cherokee, Chickasaw, and Osage lands, and known by many today as the state of Kentucky. Happy Pride Month. We see you, we hear you, and we support you. The Women's Forest Congress has a commitment to inclusivity. It is an open and inclusive group. Trans, non binary, and gender non conforming participants are welcome, as are women of all ages, perspectives, cultural backgrounds, professional levels, abilities, and education. This statement can be found on our website. In addition to Pride Month, it is also Great Outdoors Month. And so we chose a theme of outdoors for our event today. As we engage today, I ask that we create a safe space for all participants, knowing that we come from different backgrounds with different perspectives. It is important that we value what each person brings to the table and they can bring their true, authentic self today. Our goal for today is to network and move the Women's Forest Congress forward. I challenge you to exchange contact information with at least one new person that you did not know before joining today. We are pleased to note our event is accessible with closed captioning available as well as sign language interpreters that are with us today. If you are in need of the sign language interpreters, you can pin on Zoom the interpreters, but we will be spotlighting the interpreters for the duration of the event today. The chat box will be available to ask questions or to put in comments. We will be monitoring all comments for the duration of the session. During the session today, please get comfortable, stay on mute when not speaking, and turn on your cameras if you feel comfortable. We would love to see everyone's beautiful face. With that said, we will be recording, so do what makes you feel most comfortable. I also want to remind you that the Women's Forest Congress has social media handles. We are on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Connect to our Women's Forest Congress network to share your positive experience from today. You can tag Women's Forest Congress and use the hashtag #WeAreWFC. The Women's Forest Congress goal is to give everyone an arc of experiences. Continue to stay engaged in the resources that we share. I also want to bring attention that we have the amazing artists from Urban Wild capturing the session today with visual graphics. We will get a sneak peek at the end of the meeting, but you will also see that you can view their depiction during the session today as they are depicting what is being discussed. Before we get into the business portion of the Women's Forest Congress, we're going to put up a few polls to get a sense of how you are feeling today about our time together. So, poll number one, Amy, if you don't mind to pull up poll number one. How are you feeling about our time together today? Energized, excited, grateful, anxious, nervous, uncertain, all of the above, or if none of these describe how you are feeling today, you can select other and put how you are feeling in the chat box. So how are you feeling today about our time together? We'll give you about 10 more seconds. All right, Amy, do we have most captured?
We have about 60%. So
I can wait a few more seconds.
just so you know, folks are seeing both questions on the screen. So our second polling question as well, if you want to mention that one while you're at it.
I sure can. So for the second question, what's your preferred form of networking? In-person events, virtual setting, social media, periodic phone calls or meetups, all of the above, or other. So if you select other, again, you may put your response in the chat box and we will read what you put in the chat. And we'll give you a few more seconds and then we will review what we have. All right. So for question number one, how you are feeling today, majority said grateful at 48%. We also have some that are excited at 42%, energized at 23%. Some are like, I am uncertain at 18%, all of the above at 8%. And then I see anxious at 3% and other at 3%. And I see Malin put curious. So Malin is curious today. I appreciate you all sharing how you feel. It's very important that we know how you're feeling coming into this setting, into this space. So thank you for sharing that. And then for poll question number two, what's your preferred form of networking? And 51% said in person, like after these last 18, 19 months, yes, cannot wait to be in person. And so 51% said in person. And then we had all of the above at 25%. And then we have virtual setting and periodic phone calls or meetups at 10% each. And then social media at 4%, and then other at 1%. Thank you all so much for participating in the poll. So we will now move into the business of the Women's Forest Congress. I will now turn the mic over to Jasmine Brown, a doctoral student in the Department of Forestry at Michigan State University and a member of the Women's Forest Congress Steering Committee, as well as Tia Beavert, who is with the Tribal Forest Manager, Yakama Nation Tribal Forestry, and a member of the Women's Forest Congress Advisory Council. Welcome, ladies, and I'm going to turn it over to you all.
Thank you so much, Mia, for that introduction. I was waiting for the next slide. Perfect. We can leave it here. Before I start, I wanted to first thank you all for sticking with us during our growing process. I come to you as the voice of a 9-person steering committee. We have engaged in thoughtful discussions about who we are, what we hope to accomplish, and the purpose of our organization. Today's steering committee update focuses on unveiling the language for our mission and vision. We recognize that these statements will inevitably change over time. As for now, the current versions of our mission and vision will guide our actions leading up to the 2022 in-person Congress. We can go to the next slide. Our vision statement can be understood as a description of the future world we want to see. Some of the forthcoming possibilities are based on values such as empowerment, equity, and sense of belonging for all women in the forest community. We anticipate these values causing a shift in our relationship with forests and the demographic composition of the forest community. We can go to the next slide. Our mission statement describes the corresponding actions of the Women's Forest Congress, which will work towards achieving the previously mentioned vision. The mission describes how we work together and the principles that direct the safe and inclusive spaces we aim to create. I'll give you all a minute to read. Perfect. I know it can be tough to read and listen, so I was trying to give folks a minute to digest the text. We can go to the next one. Shortly after this, lastly, the purpose describes our aspirations for the in-person Women's Forest Congress, which is scheduled to take place in 2022. Shortly after this event, we plan to share our mission, vision, and purpose on our website and social media platforms. Please know that we anticipate receiving questions such as what is a forest community and who is included in all women. This is why we have opted to include comment boxes that will further explain the language we've used in these statements here. We're looking forward to you joining us on our journey going forward, and also we're looking forward to our statements mentioned here evolving in the future. Thank you so much for attending today's event. I will now pass the mic.
Hello, everyone. I am Tia Beaver. I am an enrolled tribal member of the Yakama Nation in South Central Washington State, and I am a member of the Advisory Council for the Women's Forest Congress. I don't know if there's an extra slide, but I do have an update of the Advisory Council. So selection of the Advisory Council members was completed in March of this year, with the inaugural council meeting held in April. The Advisory Council will continue to meet quarterly in advance of the 2020 Congress. Over the summer, the council will work with the steering committee to revise the Women's Forest Congress mission and vision statements. The goal is to complete this process by our third quarter, with final statements made publicly shortly thereafter, close to around September 8th. In our fourth quarter, the council will focus on advising the planning and coordination efforts for the 2022 Congress. Again, I appreciate meeting everyone, and I look forward to how this further develops. So I would like to pass it on from here.
Thank you so much, Tia and Jasmine. I would also like to thank the Steering Committee and Advisory Council for their hard work and dedication in moving the Women's Forest Congress forward. I will now turn the mic over to Molly and Amy, who will provide an update on the Women's Forest Congress in-person event in 2022. Amy and Molly, I'll turn it over to you.
Hi, thank you, Mia. I'm Amy, and I work with the Meeting Design and Logistics Working Group. We are currently working on the planning. It's really well underway for the 2022 event, and we will be providing input to the steering committee. Based on previous survey responses received at the previous events, we are focusing our efforts on the late summer, early fall period in terms of timing, and this is in 2022, obviously. A request for proposal is being developed, and this will go out to potential locations in the coming weeks. We are trying to design an event that will be immersive for those who are able to attend in person, but also offer virtual opportunities for those who are unable to join us in person. We are looking for design and logistics that will ensure that there's time for work and inspiration, as well as time for networking with colleagues, sharing a meal with old and hopefully new friends, and lots of time for enjoying the natural world through outdoor activities and experiences. We will be very soon here opening a poll to try and gauge your feedback on a few of the key items related to meeting design and logistics for this 2022 event. Please take the time to respond and provide your feedback for our planning teams. Make sure you scroll down because there'll be multiple questions there. You will notice a question or two about content. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Molly Pitts, who's representing the Content Development Working Group. Thank you.
Good afternoon, I'm Molly Pitts, and the content development team is working with the meeting logistics team, and we provide feedback to the steering committee on topics and themes that we think folks want to hear. Our intention is to categorize our content in key theme areas such as women in leadership, women in the workforce, women as catalysts of change, and the other one is addressing the biggest challenge facing the forest community sector. And here we will discuss some of the biggest challenges facing the forest sector, then capitalize on the collective knowledge and expertise of those in attendance to consider and recommend solutions. We'll also look at how women's perspectives are leading efforts on these challenges. And the other theme is women supporting women. Just as a little background, there's been a total of 7 American Forest Congresses, with the first being in 1882 and the 7th in 1996. The Women's Forest Congress in 2022 would be 140 years since the first Congress held in 1882, which is kind of exciting. As with previous Congresses, themes really focused on people's relationships with the forests. So we are considering the same approach. I know that's important to me. All past Congresses were very different in their approach, design, and outcomes, but all had high-level government officials in attendance, from the President of the United States to cabinet members. We know we have our work cut out for us, but we are excited to be engaging upon this momentous movement and bringing together women for the sake of our future forests. So with that, hopefully everybody's had a chance to do the polling questions. Was there something else, or was there anything else that we needed to cover?
No, and it looks like we have about 75% of folks who've responded to the poll. So feel free to put in your responses there if you like. It'll help us with the planning processes moving forward. Thank you, Molly and Amy as well. I'm going to quickly share the results. I don't know, Mia, if you want to walk through these or if you'd like me to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So the first question was, if you could meet anywhere with 500 plus women across the forest community, where would you prefer? And I see 63% nature-based resort or conference center, 25% city or downtown. We have 6% who stated virtual, and then 4% quick access or airport location. And then for question number 2, how long are you willing to devote to an in-person event in 2022, not including travel time? And 58% said 2 to 3 days. And then we have 30% who said 1 to 2 days, and then 10% at 3 to 4 days. For question number 3, which additional services and activities are you interested in having at the in-person event? And so we have at 66% hiking. At 58%, we have tours with field tours and or partner/family tours. And then tied at 46%, professional headshot photography studio, in addition to career counseling and coaching. And then we also have mountain biking at 24%, yoga at 49%. Moving along to question number 4, what content themes resonate the most with you? And I did see it 70% women in leadership, also women as catalysts for change, We also have about 59% at addressing the biggest challenges facing the forest community/sector. And then we also have at 52% women supporting women. As far as the 3%, I have seen mentorship in the chat box multiple times. So we need to make sure that we do have mentorship listed, as well as focus on career pathways. And Molly, I'll turn it back over to you to introduce our speaker for today.
Thanks, Mia. So it is my honor to introduce Lindsey Richter. And I met Lindsey probably about 4 years ago at a ladies all ride mountain bike clinic. And I was just totally inspired. Little did I know when I got there that Lindsey had been on Survivor, competed in mountain biking competitively, but I just found her to be a really down-to-earth person who wanted to get women outdoors. And that really resonated with me. So without further ado, Lindsey.
Hello, everyone. Can you all hear me okay? Thanks for having me. I feel really honored to be a part of this. What a great committee you've all created. This is just awesome. Am I able to share my screen here? Says only one person at a time. Oh, there's everybody. Let's see. Here we go. Okay. Sharing. All right. Well, who here's a mountain biker? Raise your hands. I can't see all of you, but I hope there's tons of hands going up. Yeah, so, I'll just tell you my quick background into why I got into this and why mountain biking. I was an athlete in high school, and it's really how I identified with myself in high school. I was an athlete. And when I went to college, I just didn't feel like there was time to do sports, and academics took over, and social life and all that is college. And with that, I really lost my fitness. I lost my zest for the outdoors. I lost my body, my fitness. I didn't know how to eat healthy. I didn't have any idea how to take care of myself after being an athlete in high school. Fast forward to the working world after college, and I didn't know how to get in shape. I tried step aerobics in the gym because this was in the early 90s. And nothing was inspiring me. I've always been the kind of person who loved being outside. I grew up riding horses and, of course, doing all those outdoor sports like track and field and soccer. But nothing was really resonating with me. So in about 1996, 97, I thought mountain biking looked like a cool sport to keep me fit and get me outside. And so I just bought a mountain bike. I grew up in Portland, Oregon, where there's barely any trails, and I started mountain bike racing. And that was my introduction into mountain biking. And I found a lot more than just mountain biking. I found my fitness. I found a community of like-minded people. And back up a little bit, I dealt with depression a lot of my life. It's a very confusing thing to deal with depression, especially when you hear you have nothing to be sad about. I just don't think that people really understand mental health issues. And I'm a big proponent of mountain biking for mental health, being outdoors for mental health. It really creates a sense of freedom when you go outside, the endorphins that you get when you go outside. So mountain biking really showed me that I belong in a sport. I belong doing something that challenges me and pushes me beyond what I thought my limits were. So yeah, I was in the working world and trying to go to spin class at lunch to stay in shape for my mountain bike races. And it just propelled me into this whole new lifestyle. It's not even a sport. I think of mountain biking as a lifestyle. I travel all over the country to ride my bike. I get to explore all kinds of forests and mountain bike trails being built everywhere. I'm seeing firsthand these trail builders that really care about the forest and care about sustainable trails. And it's been really exciting to see the growth of mountain biking. However, it wasn't always like this. As you heard, I was on the TV show Survivor. That did not help with my mental health and depression. I moved to Los Angeles from Portland. I was going to auditions and getting all kinds of experiences. I think I have a slide. Oh, that's when I started mountain biking. That's in 1993. All my fingers on my brakes. And mountain biking literally changed and saved my life. And it's really why I want to share it with more women. So there I am getting into racing, doing all kinds of different types of racing throughout the years. Survivor, that was an exciting time in my life, but that was a really debilitating time because I got publicly ridiculed by millions of people, and that did not help with the depression either. So I would go race my bike as a way to feel complete and to just get me outside and get me into nature. And with that, I became a big part of the mountain bike industry. I've been working in the bike industry since 2002. I met and married a pro downhill racer. I didn't even know what that was because I raced cross country and didn't know there were other disciplines. And for 10 years of my life, I traveled the country promoting mountain biking, seeing all these awesome trails being built all over the place. But there was a real lack of female participation. And as I saw all the marketing going out, it was very much featuring men doing really crazy things on bikes, and the sport was promoted as an extreme sport. What woman wants to get involved in something that's being marketed as an extreme sport? That sounds pretty dangerous. So over time, I started to realize it doesn't have to be extreme. It is what you make of it. I also realized how much mountain biking relates to life. And I really wanted more women to hear this. I wanted it to be promoted as something that is challenging and can be intimidating, but that's why I wanted to see more women do it. It's the kind of sport that really can bring out your true colors and show you what you're capable of. I definitely realized that I was a temper tantrum thrower, kicking my bike and blaming my bike and thinking that, it's all my bike's fault. And I was riding with all these super awesome professional riders. And that sort of demoralized me a little bit. I suddenly felt that this sport that had brought so much life to me, I couldn't keep up with people. I didn't feel as good as people. And that's another thing I realized. More women must feel this way. Maybe they go out on a ride with someone better than them and they feel like they can't keep up. Have you felt that? You've gone on a mountain bike ride or a hike up something and there's this feeling of I can't keep up. I don't belong here. And I really wanted to change that perception of mountain biking. It's not about keeping up. It's not about whether you're really good or really extreme. It's about what you put into it. And this is really why I started relating mountain biking to life, because it shows us what we're capable of. It helps us understand how to face and conquer fears. I realized a lot of my depression stemmed from just living a fear-based lifestyle. I was raised amongst parents who are now in their mid to late 70s who really didn't talk about feelings and emotion and mental health. And my mountain bike really helped me see that I'm strong and independent, and my relationship with my bike just took me to another level of awareness within myself. And it's something I didn't grow up learning about. Self-awareness, mindfulness, none of that was taught to us 40 somethings. Can we relate? And mountain biking really taught me I can change my thoughts. I can't be thinking about hitting my face on that rock garden when I'm going down a hill. I need to be thinking of what needs to happen to keep my wheels rolling forward. And therein lies my passion to build a community of female mountain bikers by being a spokesperson for the sport. So after years and years of begging, and I hate to say this, men to sponsor me as just an ambassador so I could be a voice for mountain biking, it wasn't until the company Live Cycling, which is a company of women who make women's bikes, came on board to sponsor our program called Ladies All Ride. And it's always been our mission to help build community. I want to show more women that this lifestyle exists for them. I can travel to any state in this country. I've been to every state in this country, and I could find women to ride with because it is such a welcoming sport. And I want more women to see that it can be approachable and appealing by removing the barriers that hold women back. I also realize that if I build it, they will come. And it's much like what you all are doing here, building these women's programs. And it's not anything against men. It's just that women seem to learn better and feel more comfortable in an environment where they're learning with other women. We want women to feel safe. We want them to feel welcome. And we want them to understand that we're all vulnerable. This sport can bring out a vulnerable side. Coming to one of our mountain bike skills camps, that can be really intimidating and you can feel really vulnerable. But the first thing we do is make a big speech about how we have no egos here. The outdoors is no place to have an ego. The outdoors is a place to learn about yourself, to grow, to be in nature, to be one with your bike or the ground that you're walking on. And the more events that we have built around this country, the more women are showing up, and we are seeing firsthand how this community of female mountain bikers is growing and growing, and it's been pretty awesome to be a part of. I mean, this is just, I feel like these photos say it all. It really helps women learn to face fears. And like I said before, I didn't always realize that a lot of my depression and things that held me back in life were because of fear. And a lot of times we don't realize we're afraid to leave that job that isn't fulfilling us. Or for me personally, I had to leave my marriage after 15 years. It wasn't a healthy relationship over time. And that was really scary and debilitating, thinking that I wasn't going to make it on my own. I wasn't going to be able to be in the bike industry because I married a pro rider. And now my mission is even more important because I want women who've been through divorce, which I'm sure some of you have, to know that you don't need anybody but yourself. And these outdoor sports can really illuminate how capable we are and how strong we are as women, and get around other women who are supporting you and cheering you on and lifting you up just makes it all that much better. I just love that it does illuminate what we're capable of. My favorite thing about this sport is hearing someone say they can't do something or they'll never be able to do that, teaching them the process, showing them the steps to do it, and watching them accomplish things they didn't think they were capable of. There is something really special about watching a woman say, no, I can't do that, and turn that into a, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I did that. You can see the look on this woman's face. She was afraid of those rocks. We talked her through it. She watched other women do it, which is very powerful. We have the mantra, if she can do it, I can do it. And she accomplished it and realized what she was capable of. And I guarantee she walked away with a little bit of a spring in her step. Again, the thoughts, I feel like as women, we're really hard on ourselves. We just by nature are perfectionists, and we want to do well, and we want to be proud of ourselves. And, you know, sometimes we have to celebrate the little accomplishments. And that's what this community is all about. Even what you all are doing, celebrating the little accomplishments, the little progressions. We like to say progression, not perfection. Perfection doesn't exist in this world. We're all just trying to figure this out, this life, this human experience. And it's about the little accomplishments. They all add up to the bigger picture. And so mountain biking is a sport that if you just pop that tiny little wheelie and get up that little rock, that's something to celebrate. And that relates to life. Every little accomplishment we make in life should be a celebration. And that's where mentorship comes in. Being a cheerleader for other women, helping other women elevate themselves and see what they're capable of. We are capable of more than we think on our own, but there is something really powerful about having a group of women standing behind us, letting us know that we can do it and showing us by example that it's possible. So I'm a big believer in women supporting women, especially in these, sorry to say it, male-dominated industries. You know, we're taking over. Who run the world? Girls. Who run the world? And then last, how do we help women feel welcome? You know, I've done a lot of diversity, equity, inclusion trainings lately. And one thing that really resonated with me was, you know, diversity is being invited to the party. Inclusion is being invited to dance. And when the DJ plays your music, that's belonging. Well, I feel like bikes and nature, that creates belonging. If we're interested in the same thing and we all have a similar passion, we belong. We all belong together. Anyone who identifies as a woman. And we make that very clear. We make it clear in our marketing. We try to help people see themselves in our marketing. We try to help people see themselves when they come to our camps. You know, we can't force anyone to come who's not comfortable with it, but we do have spots available for women of color. After this last year, we've really wanted to make sure that everyone who identifies as a woman feels like they belong at an event where women are supporting each other in a really challenging yet positive sport that can really change their lives. I make sure that I call it out and I say, we welcome all women of color. We welcome all LGBTQ+, all body types, all fitness levels, all personality types. We want everyone to feel bonded by the power of bikes, and we want everyone to know that they belong, getting outside, enjoying what the outdoors has to offer. There shouldn't be barriers in getting more women to experience what the outdoors and these outdoor sports have to offer to their lives. So I'm pretty passionate about mountain biking as a catalyst for growth and change, because I just see so many women who aren't quite sure what they're capable of kick some major butt when they get on a bike. And our clinics, we attract women. I'm 46, and we attract women in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and sometimes 70s. And let me tell you, when I see 60-year-old women who don't think they can do something, do all these things on a bike, it just elevates them to the next level. And I just want that for more women. So thanks for listening. I'm really honored to be here and really excited about what you all are doing.
Lindsey, thank you so much for being here today and just sharing your passion and truly how you defeated your mental health issues that you saw that you had, you know, after the fact, but you found something that you were able to be passionate about, and now you have made it something that is amazing. And so I'm at a loss for words, because just the passion, the energy, and what you are bringing and changing the narrative of what women can truly be and who we are is just amazing. So thank you so much for being here today and sharing your story and your being your true authentic self.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a real honor to speak to you all today and see what you're all creating too, because we're all in this together.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And
Thank you.
thank you. During International Women's Day on March the 8th, we had a phenomenal speaker, Miss Lynn Wilson, who spoke about building relationships, influencing outcomes, and networking. Lynn gave us some great nuggets to take away, but a few of them truly resonated with me, and I wanted to share them with you. So the first thing that she said is know which battles are worth fighting. She also said how to build your network and building stronger relationships. Self-assess your challenges and opportunities. And I don't like to say challenges, I like to say opportunities for growth, because we all have opportunities to grow within our journeys. And identify a mentor or re-engage with an existing mentor. And we have to make it a two-way street. It is not a one-way street when it comes to mentoring. The Women's Forest Congress is focusing on networking for this event because it is important for us to speak to the importance of our stakeholder engagement work, the need for diverse viewpoints and representation, and networking allows us to hear from others who may not know or typically engage with us. I was reading an African proverb the other day, and it was very fitting to share today. And the African proverb said, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with others. As we talk about building our network and moving the Women's Forest Congress forward, it is important for you to know that we cannot do this alone. We need you in the process as we grow together. We must value what each other brings to this space. Thank you for joining us today. Until next time, stay safe, healthy, and continue to expand your network. Have a great evening. Thank you.